This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good morning, everyone. Welcome aboard. Look at that. The sun is starting to pop through. I guess it will very, very soon because it's very cold. Hoping that it will. Apparently, it's not according to the weather, but I say it's very cold. And that means that I hope that predators will be out and about. So I'm going to be investigating the south of Djuma today. Hopefully find some elephants too. So I'm pretty excited. I hope that you are as well. So jump on board, everyone, for your live safari through the African bush. What a beautiful scene this morning. We're here on Western Quarantine. I wanted to check this area because we had male leopard tracks here yesterday. I thought maybe we'd be lucky, but nothing so far, everybody. But I'm very glad to have you all on board with me. It's me, Tswalu. This time we've said goodbye to Darren, Davy, and Lawrence. That means we've got Theo, Morgan, and Andrew back with us for the safari and for the next few weeks. Hope you can hear there's some francolins, there's some grey go-away birds calling, but nothing too exciting just yet. But I hope that means that there will be something exciting coming up soon. I definitely am feeling it. I hope that the bush delivers to me this time. Well, it's your live safari, everyone, so use that hashtag WildEarth. You can use @FC on the YouTube chat stream. You can also go to our website, of course, register to use our questions and comments box. And if you're under 18, please use kids' questions at wildearth.tv. We would love to hear from all of you. So this morning we've got Andrew, myself, as well as Mike and Pridelands out. So a bit of bushwalk action. So it promises to be a good one. Now there was some elephant audio not too far away from where we are at the moment. So we're going to follow up there. It sounded like they were in the block, but we'll go and check it out anyway. It's always a good way to start with some elephants, isn't it? It's about 14 degrees Celsius, 57 degrees Fahrenheit. That's why I said I didn't trust the weather, because it feels much colder than that. But you'll find that the weather for specific places in the bushveld can be very different wherever you go. Sometimes it's raining and storming up in Buffelshoek and sunny here on Djuma. All right, let's get going. Move in the direction of those elephants, or at least the audio for those elephants. I hope they weren't too far north. Obviously keeping an eye out for tracks as we go too, but I really, really want to hear alarm calls. It feels like it's been a while since we've heard some really, strong ones. Anyway, let me send you over to have a look at the weather and our other locations too.
Good morning everybody. Welcome to Djuma Private Game Reserve here in Sabisand. We're sitting here at the Gari Dam this morning looking at looks like a pair of hippo. And this very quiet dam, what you heard in the background, just the Egyptian geese all shouting about. And my name is Andrew and I have Theo this morning on camera. So this is how we're going to begin taking you on drive, showing you what we could around here. Oh, looks like I was wrong then. Not only two, looks like 3 of a hippos So this is the usual way of hippos. Early in the morning you got them back to water, which they may have spent the whole night outside of the water for grazing, which they are nocturnal. So we're just going to take this silent moment of silence, listen to this wildness. Looks like we got something on this side of us there. Looks like it's floating. Probably looks like probably a carcass. I'm gonna take a look at that. Looks like an impala. I think looks like an impala carcass, or something may have died somehow. Yeah, it is there. Yeah, looks like an impala. It's an impala carcass floating in this dam. You can see how the tummy expand already just because of probably been there for ages, I think. And in this very beautiful dam, Gari Dam, I haven't seen recently any of a crocodile, which they will be already working hard on it to open up or feed at all. So they'll be asking if these carcass would be decomposed quicker in the dam. That depends. Well, since we don't have a lot of crocodiles, which they're the one usually would take everything that floating around the water, dead carcasses and things like that. And it probably is going to take a while. The vulture, they cannot really land in the water. If it was then hippo died in there, of course they would have a capacity of where they're going to land on a body of animals and then feed. But looks like just the impala is so small. And then if it's anything would feed on that, we have a terrapin around in this water hole, but they're little, as well as these catfish we have. But then it's going to take a while. So this is probably going to take a while. There's nothing going to drag it out of the water. There's a beautiful grey heron in the background. It's probably on its search for fishes or frogs around in this water, or water bird. And there's a blacksmith, a lapwing on the far end, or outside the water. Such a beautiful out here. I'm going to take another time to see what is happening in this very beautiful dam. So cool that all you heard is all the birds calling about in the distances. So it shows this is actually in the African morning, it's already rising. And the sun is coming out slowly, but it's probably going to be very much beautiful open sky today. Where then after that you hear a lot of different call of birds. They just only begin about to call just to communicate from where the rest of their partners have been sleeping, because usually they separate when they sleep at night. It's a water thickening. They're just waiting to get on and hunt. With water thickening, they can also, when it's a bright moon at night, they can wander around the edge of the water. You can tell it's actually cold that they're just a little puffed up. All you see just a little pencil legs that's supporting the whole entire of their body. So we hear the birds calling in the background. I'm going to be sitting around in this area, eastern side of Kalahari Dam.
I promise there are some elephants beyond this red bush willow. But also, can we just take a moment to appreciate how beautiful the color on this bush willow is at the moment, because the sun's just popping through. Oh, look at that. Beautiful. Amazing. It looks completely red at the top. Anyway, like I said, I promise there are some elephants behind there. We can just see them, but they're very well hidden in this block. There's a little baby on the termite mound as well. Oh, you might be able to hear them. See that little bit of gray? It's an elephant. I hope that they do move to a slightly more open area so we can actually see them better. But they're kind of very, very obscured at the moment by all the bush around here. Gallagher Shortcut, this is where we are at the moment, is not a road with many open areas. It really looks like it's been cut through the bush. So there's lots of tall trees and little shrubs and everything around, and tall grass as well on the sides of the road. So it's a difficult place to get, a nice shot of the sun rising or anything like that. And it's difficult to view animals that have been not even 100 meters in from the road. But we will be patient with them. But this is the best gap we have at the moment. I can try reverse a little bit and see if there's that gap next to the dead tree. That will help us. Just like that. Hi, Enzo. You're 8 years old. You'd like to know if elephants eat brown leaves? They will. They prefer not to. They always like to eat their favorites first. And favorites are the green leaves. But if there's none of the favorites left, then they'll eat the brown leaves too. It's like when you have a box of chocolates, and so you eat your favorite ones first. But it doesn't mean you won't eat the ones that are not your favorites. You'll just leave them for last. So they'll try hard not to eat the brown leaves, but if they have to, they will. Even the brown grass, Enzo, sometimes you'll see them taking it and putting it in their mouths, and then as they're chewing, it kind of falls out their mouth because they're not very happy about it. There's that youngster on the top of the mound. Vegetation around termite mounds and on termite mounds are very nutrient rich. Imagine a nutrient profile that we all have, all living creatures have, certain things that they've got to possess, at least in some quantity. And some of us have all our nutrients, We're taking everything we need to, eating everything we need to, and everything is kind of fully charged. Imagine that. Did you hear that? That was the elephant releasing itself for the morning. But sometimes we don't all have... Apparently you did hear that. Jared thought I was sighing. No, I wasn't. It was the behind of an elephant sighing, I guess. No, what I was saying is that we have this nutrient profile, right? All living creatures. And sometimes everything can be full. The amount of protein you have, the amount of sugars and carbohydrates, everything is full and your nutrient profile is looking great. And sometimes it's not. And the majority of the time, it's not. We're all in need a little bit more of this or a little bit less of this. Not everything is filled up. And the plants out here are the same. Of course, most things will reach that critical amount for their optimal survival, but they might not be, full. They don't have all the nitrogen they need, all the sugars and carbohydrates they need. But around a termite mound, the vegetation is more likely to have that full, all ticks nutrient profile. And that's especially because of the availability of nitrogen. And nitrogen, you always hear about nitrogen fixation, and you know that some plants can do it, and fungus can do it. And that's because nitrogen can't just be taken up by plants. You can't just have the nitrogen in the air and the plants just take it. It's got to be a certain shape for it to work for them. And then we call that nitrogen fixing. Just imagine they're fixing up the nitrogen so that plants find it easier to take it up. And the fungus gardens that these termite mounds host, those do fix the nitrogen. So there's lots of nitrogen available in that area. That means the vegetation there has good nutrients. Hi, Megan. You say these elephants are playing hide and go seek. They are, but in such a taunting way. It's more of a na 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 na. I'm on top of the termite mountain. You can't see me. I can hear that ringing in my ears. And now I'm sure you can too. I'm hearing Impala's alarm call behind me. It's far. It's far, so we're gonna get going and just drive and see what happens. We can always come back to these elephants. But hopefully we'll be able to find what they're alarming at.
Today is no ordinary day. We have many people on the vehicle. We have Dawn Rial here and we have Miss Gabby. They are holders of the Ticket to Dream.
It's a very special opportunity for us and a learning experience for Gabby.
My favorite is the wild dog because it's like painted a little bit.
If you want to go on safari with a WildEarth guide, whilst honing your bush knowledge and of course featuring in one of our shows, then head over to our website.
My most favorite part about WildEarth is I have learned so many things and I have become interested in so many things that I never even knew about.
I'm going to ask my friends and my whole class, even my teacher, to go on safari.
We wanted to buy a Ticket to Dream because we wanted our family to have this as a special time in our lives that we can always look back and reflect on. This is a dream to be here.
Hi everybody, I'm Tiana, I'm from Johannesburg, and I am one of WildEarth's biggest fans.
Been watching for 4 years, DG here from the Ozarks.
It's been 4 years for me and I'm not leaving anytime soon.
It's given me a time away from the hassles of the city, and it's given me a connection to a place that has stolen my heart, which is Africa.
Last year we lost our son, and now we're just watching WildEarth. Love to all you guys.
You are reminding us of the role that we play in nature conservation, each and every one of us. You have reconnected myself to a dream that I had as a child to get involved in nature conservation, and for that I'm really grateful for as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
My name is Ross and I'm a field guide at and beyond Pinda Private Game Reserve. I love getting questions from guests on WildEarth because I love sharing and learning information about nature with new people, and it also makes me feel like you're all joining me in real life. If you want to ask a question on WildEarth, then you need to register on our website. Once registered, go to our live safari page and submit your question below our live feed.
Glorious golden globe rising slowly from the horizon. The sun illuminating the Lowveld. Hi everyone, my name is Mike Anderson, behind the camera is Craig, and this is Ecotraining's Pridelands Conservancy, where it's chilly. It's freezing this morning, but as the sun rises it's going to warm up much quickly. Goodness gracious, that sounds like my brain hasn't warmed up much quickly yet. But we're just here at Leopard Dam, or just behind the Leopard Dam wall, because as we were arriving I was going to set up a little station there. We're going to have a bit of coffee, and I noticed this tree that has been absolutely destroyed by elephants, and this I've not noticed before. I think it's fairly fresh. This is a marula tree, and it has had one of the largest, in fact the main trunk has been snapped off by them in their quest to get at some of the leaves and also some of the cambium layer. And what's really interesting is there's a little bit of cambium that's actually exuding from this tree, and this is how I knew it was quite fresh, because this cambium, this liquid stuff, does dry very quickly. Just over here there's some of that cambium that's still super wet. You can see it's really sticky substance, and this red cambium that you see here, this is what marula trees are most used for apart from the fruit, because this stuff has very, very strong antihistamine properties. So if I would have a wound from a mosquito, a bite or a scratch, or some hairy caterpillars climbed on me and created a welt, I would take some of this stuff and just apply it onto the skin like that. Just really push it in there, and it almost numbs the whole area and makes it so that anything that was hurting you doesn't itch or anything anymore. So it's a really, really awesome use for what's a very common tree, and it's really widely used in local cultures. Even by most guides in the area will know that it's used for that. We teach all of our students. So it's nice to see that the tree is, this tree will not die. It will be able to survive, but it's never going to be quite the same. Anyway, we're going to head up to the dam wall and we'll send you over to Andrew.
Heading down to the dam. It's very good. A good idea. So we also have left the Gari Dam, and then what we did, we check on the eastern side of the dam, and nothing there. It's quiet. So I just take one of the road that really hoping to find anything that we're gonna be show for everybody to see. In the morning when it's cold, the animals are mainly hide a little bit, but I think when it's warmer up a bit, out. As you can see how vegetation changes, grass is all brown, and then just looks like it shows really that we're in the winter. The winter for us, which is we don't have rain at all. We don't receive rain. So if we ever receive a little bit of a spit, but it won't be too much. But that is to bring everything that drops down, leaves from trees. Usually in the winter they're shut down and they all drop down. And that, when it rains, it makes everything rot. Go back to the rain. So there is a compost for the old grasses and plants again. And we all believe that when it's all it's very easy to spot animal. You know, this is what everybody prefer, because they can see far away. We can see far away. But it's so that sometimes for the animals not good that when there's not much vegetation, talk about elephants, they're so big animal, need a lot of amount of food. So that you see a lot of a damage from trees in a point of view that elephants will be breaking these type of plants down, and this is what they need to feed on because there's no maybe enough grass in them. James, so you're asking if all the brown grasses will die out. So usually it does die out. What happens is once the brown grasses take place is that all the of a dryness, since the ground is very dry. But then animals, buffaloes, all the mixed feeder animals, they'll be really participating on eating these grasses, and then there's no regrowth in that. And then it's all going to be finished in the end. But otherwise, some of those grasses won't be eaten by any of the animal. They will just going to break off. And then again, after the rain, there will be enough compost for the regrowth for the trees. So not all grasses that is going to die. Some of them will be eaten, but the majority of these grasses would be just going to break off because of the dryness when the wind blows off, and then it will just going to drop on the ground. So then there's a compost again. So it helps. Encroachment, which is then, of course, a lot of times we do burning, but also it's just to cull the grasses or maybe rejuvenate the grasses. So when you burn them, if you don't burn them, animal itself, they would eat these grasses. And then once everything is eaten, for the next season when the rain comes, everything's going to be beautiful trees. So, for example, also the trees that already broke down by the elephants. While we're talking about the elephants, we've got a tree out here, which is a marula tree, just for the example of how sometimes elephants, they can do damage, but it's just because of this is the way they feed. We're looking at these beautiful marula trees out here. We see a lot of these trees are also favorite for the elephants. They debug and feed on a communal layer. All you see there is just it looks like a one side. On the left-hand side, I might say, it is actually been done. But if you look carefully, before, I think it's been ringed back. As you can see, the whole grey patch. This was a old time previous. And then again, the new debug, as you can see, red around in his back. I also heard a bearded woodpeckers, communicating on their way distances. I'm going to take a listen to that.
Justin from Nzinga going mobile.
So that was we heard in the background that knocking of the wood. That was a bearded woodpecker. So important that these birds thought to use a way of communication. Usually, communication also feeding wise when there's a feeding method when they pick for any of the little wood barrel in this wood. But that was a communication that we hear because it was far enough sound for everybody to hear it. But it only goes for a certain time and then take it off, listen for a response. There is a go-away bird again that is calling in the background. A grey luri, grey go-away bird, Tarako. So we're gonna carry on search, and hopefully we get to see or we find a very interesting track, mainly if it's a cat, and a cat will be spending time in it, and then see if we could maybe find if it's a lion or leopard. It's actually morning, very good morning to find what we need to find. Also communicate to the radio because my radio's been silent, so see what the other guys in. and then we're going to respond from there.
Well, I followed up on those alarm calls, and it was a lot further than I expected, so it was an area that I couldn't follow up on or into. But also, it was not completely unexpected because of the temperature of the air. The air is really cold, so sound travels a little further than usual. No tracks. We're on Zoe's Road now, heading south. Always a good road to check out the tracks. It's because the sand's so nice on this road. It's nice and fine, at least for the most part. Thing is that the last few days, and I've been checking this road constantly, the last few days I haven't been seeing tracks and leopard tracks on them very much at all. Lots of hyena tracks. And I've said to you before that roads go through kind of they each have their day, and Zoe's has been very, very productive for a while now. So maybe it's starting to give the bait into another road. Because it's unusual to not see tracks on this road for a couple of days. I used to see female leopard tracks, male leopard tracks on this road constantly for the last few months. Now we've just got to figure out which road it is that is the new most productive road for this season. Hi Jamie Lee, you're 12 years old, you have a really important question. You'd like to know, how can I tell it's an alarm call and not just a vocalization? It's because it's a specific call. So like you as a human, your alarm call would be a scream, right? Now obviously you may scream when you're being tickled or other things like that too, but out here there's nobody playing with each other in that way. So the alarm call is a very specific sound. There's some sounds that sound like it, especially with impala. When they rut, they also make a sound that's similar to that. But for example, a kudu or a nyala, there's no other sound they will make that is similar to an alarm call. It's a very specific sound. It's only for one reason. It's to raise an alarm. We know what the other sounds would sound like. Like sometimes you could hear like a coughing sound. It's very strange, but I've heard both Nyala and Kudu do it. They can also make it like grunts. But not an alarm call. An alarm call is a very specific sound. Well, let me send you over to Andrew. He's got one of the tiniest antelopes we get you. I'm going to actually head down Rebecca's.
Beautiful. So we have found one of the out here we considered as the smallest antelope, steenbok. We don't have a one which is called dik-dik, but this is slightly bigger than that dik-dik. So, and then of course you have a grey dagger as well, which that looks totally different to that color. So there we're looking at the cot, which is got like an impala, but we're looking at the male steenbok, see how it moves. So one of those antelope there would be very much solitary sometimes. You find a lone female or a male. Sometimes they will be closer together or not far from one another, male and a female, because of course the male is highly territorial. So that means he would host female around within his territory. So you're asking, steenbok so small, so how could we tell if it's a younger one? So you can also tell by looking at size. But of course, it's very difficult if then you're looking at a female or then juvenile female, of course, because then only developed its horn anything 4 months. 4.5 months. If it's a male, only show a little bit of the horn coming up, but very little. So you can still tell that, because usually the capacity of the body, it's generally small. But if you know exactly what you're looking at, because a steenbok, it's very smallest out here. So we also have to study it well, that every time we see female, we know it's a full grown or it's a small one. So I'm going to roll forward a little bit. Hopefully we get to see it again now. Looks like we still got it. Generally, so this is how you can able to tell also looking at the horn, and you know it's a female. I mean it's a male, sorry. So all of the antelope, mainly majority of them, the males grow horns and the female don't have horn. But some of them do have horn, even if it's a female, but not all of them. I agree, everybody. Indeed, it's so cute looking animals. So generally it's a kind of an antelope that, you know, it's a way they move around alone, and then as the name steenbok stand for a stone. So I think due to, you know, anti-predators, that antelope would eventually go down immediately if it spot a danger before the danger spots it. So that's the name came from. So when they go down, they pretend as a shape of a rock. So mainly a lot of time, whoever hunts it would be very difficult to spot it. Once it's down and it's completely curled down and then just like a rock. So it's not also easy for the predators to actually get any details of whether that antelope has been around, because they have a way of how they protect themselves, of that they can bury their dung, they can bury their urines, so they're hardly to be tracked by predators. So you're asking how many years do they live for? So generally anything from 6 to 12. So it looks like it's also busy listening in to us, but it's just because it's got to do its own way of how they survive out here. So spotting the danger, it's one of the serious technique or way of survive, but also listening to the sound, deduct the sound, smell as well. So there is a key of how do they spot a danger or know where the danger's around them. I'm going to take a silent moment, listen to or see exactly what he's up to. Probably is going to come towards the vehicle, I think so. So you can clearly see the called preorbital gland, which is just under their eyes. That is actually secretion of oil. But for most of the antelope, they have them. And that's how they communicate. They rub them against the twigs, wood, wherever they go. So for the partner who come behind, he may know where exactly where he is. So it's got a pretty much prehensile legs. I'm going to see how it goes across the road in front of us then while we're here.
Founded in 1973, the Endangered Wildlife Trust has consistently and effectively worked towards achieving our conservation legacy. contribute to this legacy by visiting EWT's Get Wild eShop and purchase products with a purpose.
I love being a cam op for WildEarth. The animals coming right up close to you, especially like lions. Sometimes you get nervous, but you have to go with the flow. My favorite animal to film is the elephant because of how big it is. But when it's really up close to you, it's one animal that you would say, I really respect you.
Guys, have a look at what we've got. This is better than my birthday. Look at that. This is the first time that I ever see cubs this small. This is so special. This has officially just become my best sighting of all times.
Tune into WildEarth every single day. It's in your nature.
Delivering 6 hours of HD wildlife content live every day is no small feat. It's a massive team effort, and we all rely on one another. Cam ops have a bit of work to do in the morning. Up nice and early, get all the checks out of the way, and make sure we're ready to go live. Helping others fall in love with nature brings meaning to what I do. It's also a lot of fun.
So, not much is happening on Zoe's Road. Obviously, I'm still driving. So, we're now going to go to Twin Dams and just park there for a little while. See if anything comes along. It feels like a nice morning for that. In fact, it feels like the morning for that. It's warmed up a little bit, like it's quite pleasant. Still don't have any tracks. Yeah, it's very, very pleasant. And once we get there to Twin Dams, we'll sit for a little bit. And if we don't see anything exciting, we will maybe try and see if we can visit Seb Wig's parents, or the Wigs. It's just in quite a difficult place in the Mawati for broadcast. So we'll try our hardest to get in there. But first we'll spend some time at the dam. I haven't gotten to see them since I've been back, but last stint I did manage to see them, but it was not during the drive. Or rather, it was not during broadcast time. So I'd like to see them and share the sighting with you guys as well. And I'm so surprised at the lack of tracks. And especially good tracks. There feel to be, there's like lots of leftover tracks in the road. Anyway, let me send you over to Mike and Pridelands on Bushwalk, and I'll see you again at the dam.
So we have made our way just to the west of the dam, and we found another eroded patch here which always produces lots of interesting articles. And what we have here in the screen is a giant land snail shell. And this shell has been here for a long time. You can see it's actually bleached, completely white by the sun. And it's white because of all the calcium that's inside of it. This piece is very important for many of the animals that live in this area, because many of them need calcium in their diet to keep their bones strong, to keep their skeletal structure nice and rigid. So you'll find many animals, from Nyala all the way up to giraffes, and even sometimes as small as things like tortoises, will come and chew on these shells that they find here. in order to get those nutrients. And you can see the sun is actually making it very easy to get to it, because even this stick that I have is able to score this shell. So you can see how easily digestible this would be for an animal. Much easier than trying to eat an actual bone. This is much more digestible. It's much more easy to chew up for those animals that have got small teeth. And I mean, animals like tortoises need lots of this stuff, because their whole outside skeleton, the shell, is basically an extension of their spine. It's made of bone, so without plenty of calcium, it'll be soft. It'll be easy to break into. Now, I'm not going to pull this out to see if it's all intact. If I do so, it will just make the erosion that's happening here even worse. And I don't want to do that. We want to, if anything, rehabilitate this area. But these kind of places are always very interesting. I mean, if you just look around us, I mean, there are lots and lots of erosion that's happening, and you can really see it washes down. We often find lots of signs of human habitation in areas like this. We can really see the soil profile. So it gives us a real good indication of what the, I guess, underneath the surface of the earth looks like. An area like this. Plenty of grasses growing, usually very nutritious, usually pioneer species, because they need to recolonize this kind of an area. But those things that are growing here are usually very sought after, because the mineral content in these areas is much higher, because it's a bit of a sodic site as well. You can see by the pale color of the soils, there's lots of minerals like sodiums here. Not sodium like we think of, sodium chloride, the salt, very, often used as a spice. This particular sodium is not particularly salty. In fact, I did try and eat some soil the other day from an area just like this. It didn't work out so great for me, I'm not going to lie. It was unpleasant. But the minerals, nonetheless, are useful in the body. So many animals will graze here quite frequently. We're going to keep heading west along this open area that's called Olduvai, and keep looking for interesting little artifacts. And in the meantime, we'll send you over to Trish.
Ooh, artifacts, you say? Sorry, I've just put... See, Morgan is, it's his first day back after a while, so he's forgotten that bushes might touch him as we reverse. I've just got to reacquaint him with them, so I decided to reverse into a nice quarry bush for him. Nothing with thorns. Just some nice soft leaves. Anyway, artifacts. Mike sounds amazing. I would love to know what he finds. Oh, pied kingfisher. Wrong way. Okay, we're here at Twin Dams. I'm just going to reverse a little because I think the pied kingfisher has landed on the other side, Morgan. He was here, and then he's flown across. Aha! And further across you fly. Oh, that's cool. Looks like there's two of them in there. Let's have a look. Yeah, two of them. A hornbill. Oh, there's some great birds in this tree. Some green pigeons too. Awesome. Okay, let's start with the pied kingfishers. Hello, you two. Yeah, how I love to watch them hunt. But they are also trying to warm up a little bit. You can see that they're pulling their necks in, and then a nice little ball, comfy little ball. Then we've got a hornbill at the top. And then as we move a little to the left, you're going to see little bundles of green. And I think a little lower. Where are you? Yes, there we go. Oh, there we go, bottom of the screen. There, you've got them, two of them. In the middle, there we go. That's our green pigeons. Aren't they just delightful? Love their color. Also, you can see that they're like in a little ball, and a little puffed up. And that allows them to keep a little bit more air between their feathers and for extra insulation, and then that air warms up with their body heat. Keeps them nice and warm. Hi, Mr. Brown. You'd like to know if birds grow more feathers in winter for warmth? No, well, especially not here. As for birds in particularly cold areas, they're not very likely to grow more feathers for warmth during that time, or at least not the feathers we see. They might grow a little bit more down towards the base of their feathers. So you know when a feather falls and you pick it up, there's the stiff parts at the top, and then there's these downy bits that are closer to where the feather would attach to the body. So they might grow more of that, but they're unlikely to just start growing more feathers. Just like we have only so many hair follicles from which we can grow hair, we can produce more hair from those follicles, but we can't have a new follicle to start producing hair from. It's nice to see these different types of birds in the same tree. It's I would say an adolescent leadwood that they're all in. We've got these pied kingfishers that are primarily taking aquatic animals as their prey. The green pigeons, which are primarily looking for fruit. And then the hornbill, who's pretty much omnivorous and will take anything it likes. I love their kind of yellow leg warmers that they've got. I call them leg warmers, but they're actually technically called leggings. Either way, they're making a fashion statement. Ooh, do I hear elephants? I do hear elephants. Ooh, we're gonna stay here. I hope that they will come all the way down. Can you see them? Morgan's gonna show us. Ah, I can see it. I can just see them coming through. Ooh. Doesn't look very happy. Okay, let me move forward a little bit. It's just behind that bush. Didn't look very happy. There it is. Oh, I love sitting at the dam and different animals come through. I don't see anything around him that would indicate that or tell me what he's irritated at. Look at that, look at that. Trying to smell. There's a lot of vehicles behind us in Little Gari. I wonder if he's smelling that. And he's unhappy about it, but still it's quite far. I was actually wondering if perhaps this is the same area that we saw Mulwati that time we were sitting at the dam, and exactly where that elephant was, and then he crossed down, but I didn't see anything. Maybe just a little bit too excited about the water? Oh, isn't that beautiful? Aren't we so lucky to be here at this moment when this bull comes down to drink? It's quite a young bull. Oh, there we go. Couldn't be happier. This is the best scenario here at the dam. I love just sitting here looking at some birds and then elephants come down. You're all saying what a wonderful surprise it is. It really is. Also the lovely sounds of the birds around us. Just lovely. So gentle, so deliberate. As the dams start to dry up, all the things within it become concentrated in the same way as, when you're making a soup. You've got to let a lot of that moisture boil off to get a concentrated flavor. In the same way, everything that's in the dam, as this water starts to evaporate, it starts to concentrate. Bacteria, good and bad, cyanobacteria, all of those things start to concentrate. So the water quality tends to go down, and there can be, so that green-blue algae, that cyanobacteria, can start to build up, and it can create a certain toxicity in the water. As you can see with this dam, there isn't much at all, but there's a dam up at Buffelshoek Dam where you can see it quite a lot. And it's more obvious when the dams start to dry up because of that, concentrating the water. So to see elephants come down to the dams, the various dams, and have a drink, it's a nice indicator that the health of the dams is still pretty good. Now, Treehouse Dam, I haven't seen many elephants come to drink there in the last couple of weeks. Oh, well, last stint, not very often, and in this last week, not. So I wonder if the water quality there has started to become a little bit poorer. He looks like he's now just thinking at his local watering hole, pondering about life. It's just so peaceful. Our pied kingfishers are starting to wake up, and it feels like an all-round great start to the morning. I love listening to the sound of the water as they suck it up and as it drops. Listen to that. I really, really love it. Well, I'm going to stick around here and see what other jewels come this way. Most definitely. There seems to be another elephant coming along. This is my morning maid, everyone. I wonder if it's another bull, one that it knows, or maybe it's another female that it may fight with. I don't know. We're just going to have to wait and see. This poor one is a young male, like I said, so he's going to be starting to experience must and so on, and not going to be quite sure what's happening in his body, so they can get quite irritable at nothing sometimes. Walking around like that. They're just trying to figure out what's happening in their bodies. Off he goes. Here come the rest. Just for you, Morgan, as you swung the camera around, they darted behind that bush. Here they come. Oh, we have been lucky. I can spend all day sitting here and watching them come through and spending it with you. I have no trouble when it comes to elephants. I could be here all day with a snack, though. Can't be here all day without a snack. Got a couple youngsters coming through. Well, I hope this means that the rest of the herd, they are often sporadically spaced. Some more will come down in a bit too. That would be great.
So we got a beautiful, looks like a bachelor group mixed of different age of impalas in this woody over here. So these are the impalas. See how this male looking at us, but chewing cud, they are ruminate. Most of the antelope, they are ruminate. little puffed up a bit because of the slightly temperature that is still down, but they will be shiny coat again when it's warmer. Pop it up. So we're gonna check around in this area and see if we can find something else. I think
too lucky. Here they are. Just 3 of them. Like I said, I hope that more will come streaming through. You can sit here and watch elephants like this, especially when they come down, a few at a time for a while, because their general direction is obviously south. We've had the bull come through, we have these few youngsters and this cow. And that's not the size of the herd, Oh, there's gonna go for a little drink. Water's too cold, I need some nice warm milk. This youngster is the exact type that makes those screeching sounds, when you hear that half trumpet, half screech emanating from the bush. It's this exact age of a youngster, about 3 years old or so. Still trying to feed from mum, but you can see that there's tusks already, so those tusks start to poke her, and she knows it's time to wean her little one. They're weaned between 3 and 5. Obviously, it depends on the individual, and they're such long-lived creatures. They're such basically what's called case-selected species. So their life strategy is to produce few offspring, produce well-developed offspring, have lots of parental care, be long-lived, and generally be large. That's one of the typical categories of life strategy that you get in biology. And elephants are a perfect example of that. The sun is really warming up my cheeks now. Oh, my face is loving it. Hi Emma, you're 12 years old. You'd like to know if elephants suckle with their mouths or their trunks? With their mouths, not with their trunks. Can you imagine if they suckled with their trunks? I think it would look quite funny. But they do use their mouths. And what they'll do is they'll curl their trunk up to lie on their forehead. And then they push their mouths towards mum. And then they suckle like that. Sometimes tiny, tiny little baby elephants, they're not even able to drink water using their trunks. So they'll just put their mouths into the water and drink. It's quite funny to see, especially when they come out of the water, because they have one half of them that's completely wet and the other half that's dry. It looks like they've got a mask on. There's a little waddle back. So now I'm just going to wait and see if the others come through. If there are more, maybe we saw the tail end. Oh, I think a duiker is going to come have a drink. Now, here's something you don't see often. Now, this duiker has been hanging around here since the bull came to have a drink. And I think it's just been waiting for the elephants to leave. There it is. You go, yeah. You have to be so careful. Such a vulnerable time. There could be predators anywhere. At least the elephants were there first. Let the duiker know that if there was any predator around, the elephants would have done something, so maybe it's safe. Either way, it's going to be very careful. Come on, girl. Ah, there we go. Wow. This is one of the longest duiker sightings we've ever had the privilege to have, because they're so ready and cautious of any potential problem, any potential aggression that may come their way, potential predators. Look at her behavior. Marching, this way, that way, just making sure that she is safe. Ears pulled back. Is there anything happening behind me? Hi, Folkmaster. You'd like to know if the animals know when the water is bad. Yes, they certainly do, but only once they taste it. That's why recently we were talking about the importance of being able to taste and which senses of taste are most important. Being able to detect bitterness and sourness is incredibly important, because it'll give you cues about the quality of the things you're eating or drinking. Now, it's not a coincidence that we've developed the tastes we have. We've developed the tastes we have because throughout evolutionary history, things that have been off, things that have been poisonous, things that are full of bacteria have had this taste of bitterness or sourness. And so we've developed taste buds that can detect those tastes, and that's very important. Other tastes, something being salty and sweet, those are secondary. Sweet was important for us to detect so that we could see. That's that youngster shouting, "Feed me, Mom!" That's what it was saying there. Oh, there's a pied kingfisher too. I was just saying to you that that detecting that sweetness was something that was important when fruit-eating animals needed to know that something was ripe and nutritious. Anyway, that was awesome. So great. I'm going to continue to just sit here and see what else arrives.
If you thought you had daddy issues, then think again. Many of the fathers in nature don't have the most commendable parenting skills, but there are some who are always there to protect their young. In honor of Father's Day, this weekend, Andrew and Trishala will be at the fire discussing wild dads. Sign up to be an explorer and you can join in the fun. And if you want to wish your dad a happy Father's Day, then send your messages and we'll be sure to read them out. Educating our youth about the environmental threats we face is critical. Our future depends on it. The Wildlife and Environment Society of South Africa, WESA, is actively leading the charge. Their goal is to encourage children to fall in love with our natural world and to empower them to live sustainably in the future. Through their school programs, the children learn to report on environmental issues through videos, articles, and photos.
The WildEarth program has changed my life in so many beneficial ways. Being out there at the workshops, I was entitled to talk with others, socialize, as well as my writing skills and leadership skills have improved, so it has been great.
WESA is a membership-based organization. By joining WESA, you will be helping to provide valuable support for these youth education initiatives.
My name is Lauren and I'm currently working in Djuma Private Game Reserve here in South Africa. I love answering your questions during the live safaris. It's my favorite part. It feels like you're on the vehicle with me and I'm able to teach you exactly what you want to know. If you want to ask a question on WildEarth, then you need to register on our website. Once registered, you must go to the live safari page and ask your question below the live feed.
Look at this, the little one is up and about. Certainly hasn't had enough milk at this age. No amount of milk is enough. Oh, Corky. Too sweet. Oh, look at this. That is stunning.
Tune into WildEarth every single day. It's in your nature.
So I wanted to show you something pretty cool. I found something which is abundant in many places, not particularly abundant here at Pride Lands, but there are around. This is a piece of mother-in-law's tongue. And I've mentioned it before that it is great for getting natural fibers. So now I wanted to show you just how easy it is to extract those fibers in a way that can then be used to make rope or even make fire. So this, I've already split it in half, and you can already see now just by splitting it in half, these fibers that are coming out, okay? Just like that. See that? That's a bit of the fiber. Now this fiber is still full of, I guess, the juice or the internal part of the mother-in-law's tongue. But look at that now, I've just used my nail and now you've got separated fibers and you leave these to dry for just a few minutes and then you can use them to make all sorts of things. Oh, see how light they are. Okay, so I'm going to show you now to extract lots of them. This is just 3 single fibers, but I'm going to try and make lots of fibers. So I won't be able to do them all right now whilst you're watching, but you'll come back to me in a little bit and I'll have more for you. But essentially, if you wanted to get the fibers off this whole thing, what you want to do first is take this waxy covering off of the plant. This is holding all the moisture in, it's holding all these fibers in, stopping them from being extracted. It's what makes this plant very hardy and drought resistant. This can live for many years without decent rainfall, and I'll show you just what I mean. Okay, so all you need is a knife. In fact, the sharper the knife, or the more blunt the knife, the better, in actual fact. So you can see this has got a waxy covering, very hard. If I just scrape across the outside very easily, you can see how that waxy covering comes off there. I don't know if that's coming on the camera, if you can see it very easily. But you just scrape that waxy covering off. And now, there on my knife is all the wax on the outside. I'm going to scrape this off. And you can already see the fibers in there now visible underneath that waxy layer. And the next thing to do, in order to get these out, obviously you'd take the wax off the whole leaf, both sides, And the next thing to do is to take a rock like this one with a relatively smooth edge, and you just pound the mother-in-law's tongue leaf like this. Now I can feel moisture splashing out, okay? The leaf is not the part of with moisture that we can consume. The part with the moisture we can consume is the root. Now I've left the root in the ground because I wanted to regrow. I just took one leaf. The plant had about 3 leaves on it. So that means I just took one. So now even if I just push my nail against it, you see that moisture coming out. Okay, that is obviously not good for the fibers. We want the fibers to be dry. And the more you pound this, the more the fibers become exposed. So I'll just show you now what I mean. Look at the fibers now getting exposed from this sort of jelly-like internal structure. So you pound that gently. You don't want to smash these fibers. You want them to be nice long strips of fiber. So I'm going to just keep going with the scraping process. Okay, you can look at that. Look at the moisture coming out of that. Very important to get that moisture out, and being gentle with the knife so as not to split the fibers, because if you split them here, when you try and extract them later, you're just going to get a lot of really short fibers, which you don't want. You want as long fibers as possible. Okay, so I turn it this way. So this is kind of something I do quite a lot. I show the students how to get these fibers out, and then we make it a bit of a challenge to see if they can make something with those fibers, be it a bracelet, maybe even shoes. Now, I've even had students before create shoes from the mother-in-law's tongue. This thing is so strong and so tough that if you get a big leaf, a big wide leaf, you can actually, like the leaf sometimes is double the width of this one, or triple the width, and you can use it as the base of something like a flip-flop or a sandal. And then you use the fibers that are extracted with a needle and you sew it over, and then you can literally have a sandal that's really, really hard wearing. And we've had students sometimes wear them for a couple of days at, just around the camp to show just how strong they are. So I'm going to send you to Trish in the meantime whilst I finish extracting the fibers of this plant, and then in the end I'll show you just how many fibers I can extract from just one plant in a short time. Right. Wish me luck.
Well, we're still here at the dam. It seems like things have quietened down, and at least our pied kingfishers have come to life. This is how I test all my camops. Morgan, you failed. I'll give you another chance. They did just fly above our heads, but hopefully they'll come back. Our elephants have moved off. Our lovely duiker, our sweet little duiker, has moved off too. Here's one of our pied kingfishers. Maybe this one will give us some action. I hope that you guys will be lucky. There's been a leopard spotted not very far from our camp, or quite close to Sandy Patch. So Andrew's following up there, so I hope that we'll get some spots this morning. Wouldn't that be awesome? It's a male, and it's hunting around Sandy Patch, so it's probably Tabangumi, but who knows? That would be awesome. It'd be really great for Andrew to see him too. We've all been spoiled with sightings of Tabangumi. Well, after our time here at the dam, we're not far from the Mowati, so we're going to tuck in and see if we can go to the owls. How very birdie of us this morning. I also see a little hammerkop. Just at the base there. Okay. Let's just reverse a tad. Let's have a quick look at our hammerkop friend here. gosh, I love these birds too. Very cool. I hope that we'll see it hunt, so we might stick around a little longer before we go to the owls. Isn't it lovely? Just had a big splash behind us. It was a pied kingfisher. It's flown off now. And so amazing to see what these birds actually come out of the dam with. Whether it's a pied kingfisher or a hammerkop. Oh, pied kingfisher's trying to say hi to the hammerkop. Whatever it is, you don't ever notice half the fish and the frogs and other things. Oh, you've got a fishy. You don't notice those things just sitting here at the dam. But these guys do. Is it a fish or is it some sort of Oh, it looks like a little... Oh, it's a frog. Oh, if I were that hammerkop, I'll be so jealous. The most times I've seen hammerkop taking something, it's been frogs. Look how it's giving it a good whack to make sure that it kills it and also breaks some bones to make it easier to swallow. Yeah, tuck your head away, hammerkop. I know you wanted that frog, but you can't have it. Oh, hello, Cape Turtle Dove. Coming down for a bit of a drink? It's very cool to see that pied kingfisher with its froggy kill. It's still having a go at whacking it, so we'll stick around a little bit and watch the pied kingfisher, and then also have a look at whether this hammerkop will be as lucky as the kingfisher this morning, and also get a meal, perhaps a froggy one too.
Look what you find again. More elephants this morning. And then my mission this morning around here, we had a call which was other game drive vehicles that they have a brief visual of a leopard but disappeared. So I came in the area to have a look. So we've got an elephant. So there's more herds of elephants from what Trish had, and this group fairly different, because we're far different apart from where she was there this morning. It's like more of them to come. We're just going to take a silent moment a little bit. it looks like it's quite harder to actually focus on the individual, because then there are so many of them, and what is happening here is they're crossing the road. They probably just come from the north, which is the Manyeleti, and then now they have come to Juma area. And elephants forage in herds, probably about anything from 15, 35 upwards, sometimes. Tammy, 8 years old, so you're asking, do elephants like to eat all kinds of fruits? They eat a lot of fruits, but out in the wild, unfortunately, that there is quite a few different, or actually very much limited. I know they would love so much orange and apples if there is a one, but unfortunately not. But out here, then, we've seen elephants quite a lot of time. They're participating on feeding on a marula specifically. And some of the melons, wild calabash or melon, they would probably also like to eat on those. But actually, it's not a really good season for these marula fruits now. It's all an end. From February there was all fruiting. So I'm gonna try, because then I know it's gonna be harder for Theo to see what he sees through this bush. So I'm gonna reverse a little bit. Them there. So looking at the trunk is very much useful for such animal. So it's a hand, pick up grasses. We talked earlier about how grasses turn a little brown a bit, which is, when you look at that animals, they pick up the grasses, and before they feed, they actually have to tumble them. So the whole sand and unnecessary material left behind, and they all put what they need on their mouth. So everybody's saying, loving a sound. It's a very beautiful sound. So I'm going to take another moment of a silence here just to see all of the sound we can hear from both sides as the wall is surrounding us. such a great, isn't that cool, everybody? Just to listen to the whole communication they are about now. Just gonna wait again here, see if there's gonna be more of this rumbling of their communication they're doing. So these are the teenager, the young males, those are still participating on following the herds, or they more likely to be still allowed to keep up with the herd and not yet been moved out by their parents yet. So all you see, all are just a lot of energy of each other, just pushing each other that way. So elephants, when they're still young, especially the age we're looking at, they still have a lot of a playing time where their feet everywhere. They can go down on their knees, can lie down flat. Just like these two doing. So these teenagers of elephants are probably going to be still with this group until they're anything from 14 years until they move out from their parents. So I'm going to keep on an eye here if that leopard ever come out closer to us. But there's a lot of elephants around here. We'll keep seeing them every now and then.
The annual Safari Guide of the Year competition aims to create awareness for those men and women who dedicate their lives to tourism and wildlife. This year's event will be held at Marataba, a breathtaking privately managed section of the Marakele National Park in South Africa's Limpopo province. In celebration of this, WildEarth and Marataba Luxury Lodges are offering all explorers a chance to win a 3-night stay at Marataba Safari Lodge for you and a friend. In addition to a spectacular land-based safari, Marataba Luxury Lodges offer an opportunity for guests to cruise peacefully along the Matlabas River, watching the animals as they drink and wallow. The lodge offers you a chance to lie by the pool or enjoy a spa treatment, and one night could be spent sleeping out under the stars in a luxurious treehouse. Sign up to be a WildEarth explorer before the 30th of June, and it could be you heading off on a long-awaited getaway. WildEarth Explorers. It's in your nature.
Hi everybody, I'm Tiana, I'm from Johannesburg, and I am one of WildEarth's biggest fans.
Been watching for 4 years, DG here from the Ozarks.
It's been 4 years for me, and I'm not leaving anytime soon.
It's given me a time away from the hassles of the city, and it's given me a connection to a place that has stolen my heart, which is Africa.
Last year we lost our son, and now we're just watching WildEarth. Love to all you guys.
You are reminding us of the role that we play in nature conservation, each and every one of us. You have reconnected myself to a dream that I had as a child to get involved in nature conservation, and for that I'm really grateful for as well. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
It's a huge privilege to be in these incredible places with these amazing animals. I love filming lions. When they do get up and do something, it's always spectacular. When they are playing, are incredibly fun to watch, especially subalterns and cubs. I love being in the bush and working in these incredible places with these amazing animals. We want to bring it to you so that you can almost feel like you're right there and be able to experience it and enjoy it the way we are.
As you can see here, I'm just using my knife to strip this green waxy stuff off of these fibers. We don't want the juice, we just want the fibers themselves. And the knife is very sharp, so I would recommend using something that's not so sharp. I don't know if you have the back of your knife, maybe it could work quite well. With a bit of experience, you get better at it, and to be honest, my knife's not that sharp anymore. But just to show you how much I've extracted in a short time, so there's a little bit of the fibers here, as you can see. I'll just put this one with the rest. You can see the fibers. Sarah, so these fibers have just been drying here for the last, however many, like 10, 15 minutes since you saw us last. And they are, at the moment, quite dry and not particularly brittle, though. If I do like that, I don't know if I'll put it here in the light so you can see it. So I'll really give them a good old pull, and they do not break. And you can imagine if you braided this, it would make a very strong rope. In fact, they used to use this for rope. I've seen many of our students create bracelets out of this and even pull a car using this braided rope like this before. I don't know if you can hear a little bit of a banging in the background. We've got one of our students she's bashing the leaves with a rock. It's not very successful though, she's struggling. She was using a spoon to try and take the wax off. But Sarah, it can get brittle, but you want these to be very dry for what I'm going to do. I want to try and make a fire roll, to make a fire with it. I've done it before, but it's obviously on live TV. Sometimes what can go wrong will go wrong. I'm just busy extracting more of the fibers now. I've only used half a leaf. I gave my other half away to Hope there to try out the extracting the fibers. So I'm going to just continue trying to get this wax. So you can see what this looks like here. It's very green, very wet. It's clumpy, and by taking the knife, just like that, what I take off is what's on the knife here, this green waxy stuff, and I leave behind just the fibers, which can then be used for, all those multitude of purposes. Craig and I were just discussing, imagine if this was like just part of your life, your daily duties. These days we, have to answer our emails, or you have to do all sorts of other little things. But in the simpler times before we had all these things, people that lived in these wilderness areas, rope, fibers, these are one of the main important things for house building, for cloth making, for weapons, for bows. Absolutely everything needed fibers. So this would have been a very, very important job. Someone would have been full-time fiber making. It's quite a therapeutic thing, I find. Just thinking that at some point someone had perfected this art and was able to create a whole rope in just a few hours, maybe. And so whilst I continue to try and perfect this art, I'll send you over to Andrew.
So we also bubbling around in this area. When I spoke to the guy who had saw that a leopard, I couldn't tell which one is it, but he say in this direction of where this herd of elephants are, that leopard was coming in this way. So could be that maybe delayed because they're so sneaky, or could be around lying until the elephants move off, or maybe change direction. So what I'm doing, I'm checking few roads here. Impalas there, Theo, so let's see if there's impalas. So, Jiro, you're asking if the leopard could scare the leopard away. Yes, if the elephants seen a cat, because they're not friendly, an enemy of between these two species, of course, there would be definitely leopard would be chased away immediately, or leopard would avoid such a situation where it's elephants, because of course there's a little bit of problem there. So definitely leopard will get away or hide, make sure that doesn't get too spotted by the elephant. So now these impalas we're looking at, not far from where we had these elephants. So I'm just going to take a look at them, how they react, because they don't all of a sudden give a shout without making sure what they see is true or not. So, from those elephants and direction, so I'm going to keep on search around here. I'm going to be linking you to Trishal and Mlawati River.
Well, we're in the Mawati and there's lots of elephants around, which is great. But we were looking for the wigs, the 2 spotted eagle owls that are residents here in the Mawati. Couldn't find them. But you know how well camouflaged they are, and also there were elephants all around, so it was a bit distracting. They're all digging for some good water. Look at this. Look at how this cow is digging a nice hole, but she's throwing away any water that's got too much sediment in it. Look at that. I love viewing them in the Mawati. Ooh, that water looks a little better. A little less sandy. Oh, did you see that? She kind of, you know when you leave like a bathroom and you've just washed your hands? And sometimes there's no paper or whatever to wipe your hands in and you flick your fingers? It looked like she just did that for her trunk at the end. The end of the trunk. Oh, that was very cool. It was so human-like. Now hopefully she'll do it again and you'll see what I mean. But she's still cleaning up that hole so she gets some nice water. There's the little calf, not working as hard. Hi Brianna, you'd like to know how do they make sure they don't drink sand as well? What they'll do is they'll clean up, obviously there will be bits of sand that they will mistakenly drink, but they'll clean up a hole like this. You can see this the whole time she's been cleaning up this hole. She's digging and digging. Remember like Brianna, if at the beach or something you would dig and dig these holes as a child and water would just fill up towards the bottom of them. And she'll do that, and then the water will settle, the sediment will settle to the bottom, and then at the top, there should be nice, clean, cool, fresh water that she can drink, just like that. See how she waited? She had a trunk at the top of that water, and then she pulled just those clean bits up. What's interesting there is that she's almost tasting to make sure that there isn't too much sediment in it, and now she'll decide whether she wants to drink this water or she wants to continue to dig and clean it up. You can tell she was doing that because she kind of poured half the water in her mouth, tasted it, and then decided to pour the rest in. See, not moving it around, not shuffling it around to disturb the sediment. Just skimming off that top bit. Now, this youngster, are you going to go disturb the sediment? Or are you going to skim off the top like you're meant to? I think it was told to maybe find its own hole. Oh, they're so entertaining to watch. I love watching them. Just on the other end, one was flicking its tail and it smacked this baby one. And it was such a loud smack. Hi, Dr. Rocky Balboa. You'd like to know how do elephants know that there's water down there? 2 ways. One, we know that they learn very well. They learn, and then there's lots of their whole social system revolves around experience. So they learn that in certain areas, perhaps they know where it's very sandy, where the vegetation tastes a little different, that there's possibly water there. The second one is that it's very likely that they can smell the water. In fact, they can smell the water. We know that they can smell water that are in water bodies like dams and rivers. So it's very likely that they're able to smell that there's water close to the surface here in drainage lines. It's probably a combination of both those things. Learned behavior, changes in the taste of the vegetation around here, as well as smell that comes together to allow them to find some water in these areas. This one's going to get hit in the face. There we go. This is the one that was getting hit by this older cow a little bit earlier. She's getting irritated with this youngster. Sounds like she's trying to call, but her nose is, or her trunk is in the hole. Sounds very nasal. Everyone's very still, they're talking, they're listening, then you'll see movement all of a sudden again. There we go. These two still listening, still talking. That little baby is trying to get a spot to drink to. Hopefully it'll be able to. I hope they'll also make a few more vocalizations. It's lovely to listen to them. And this particular spot must be very good for water. Although you'll find diggings all along the way in the Mulwati. As you drive, you've got to be very careful. In fact, that I don't know if you saw the other little calf. That one there. That's obviously having some difficulty drinking, spilling on itself. It fell into one of those holes, or tripped into one of those holes, which was very, very cute. Also very common. The very young calves tend not to pay attention to much except keeping tabs on where mum is. And once they know where she is, then they can get full of bravado. But this seems to be the spot that they've settled in for the water at. Settled in at for the water. There we go. That is actual English. This one keeps getting hit in the face by a tail and doesn't seem to mind. Oh. Hello, little. You are so cute. Yes, you are. You've been having some trouble drinking, haven't you? Yes. Hello. I am bigger than you, but only for now. You'll soon be just as big as this vehicle. And bigger. Oh, look at that. The big cow's had enough of this water hole. A quite literal water hole. And now these two youngsters are having a go. Oh, so cute. Look at them on their haunches. Oh, don't fall in.
So now we have a change the position of where we were looking. So we just discovery looks like it was a male leopard that was in here. Due to looking at the tracks right on top of the vehicle, I think. And if you're able to see that there it is. So it looks like where we're looking, it changed directions. I go to the north right now. So we're going to keep on these tracks to see if we can able to find this leopard. Hopefully it's not actually on a really mission though, because usually when they're on the roads, it's a sign of there are scent marking, doing their business. This is nothing to do maybe with a lot of hunting. So I'm going to stick with these tracks and see how far it takes us into. You're asking, what have I been doing while I was not actually driving? So a lot of time was at home, and then of course doing a bit of work, helping in the family. But you know, always miss the bush. So I was patching with a lot of different friends of mine who some of those are guides, most they're freelance somewhere else. So we are a lot of time spent these majority of the time talk about all the difference. Since everybody know, all guides know that it's a very difficult time this time, nothing happening much in terms of tourism. So that's what I was pretty much doing out there when I was home. So I think we lost the tracks. And then my last track was that looks like maybe cut to the east to our right hand side. Which that's if I draw my properly direction, then it would be leading us down to our camp. So I'm not gonna turn around back to the main axis, but I'm gonna take this road, Aubrey Road, and then come out the Galago shortcut in that area. This is where we're going to try. Of these elephants been all over. Looks like they've been out here for the whole entire evening or night. So, but since I don't see any other elephants around here, that doesn't mean that it's an actually then I'm lying. I was about to say that maybe it's not that the fact that maybe that leopard is gone. So wow, we still got elephants. See on our left there, Theo, just a little bit of them there. So we aren't going to be spending much time with these elephants because we are on a now mission, so we have to keep up with that cat track, see if we're going to find it this morning before late. So this is a part of the herd that we heard on the other side, or some of them are still far in there, so all are spread around in this bush. But I'm not going to stick with them much, so I'm going to see if I'm going to find my male leopard. I'm not sure which male is this. I'm sure we'll find out when we see him. early in the morning, cats, they tend to move a lot because the temperatures it's great for them. But the minute it started to heat up and they would started to settle down, need some shade to lie down there. Some leopards or cats, they would hunt also during the day when all the starving take places. So let's do this, sit around these few roads here. I'm gonna be taking you to Mike on the walk.
I wish Andrew luck. We are walking back down towards Leopard Dam, which is just in front of us. In fact, if you look at that very big green tree in the distance that you can see, that's the big green tree that we've often filmed green pigeons at. It's a big weeping boerbean that's right above, actually, is it a weeping boerbean? Yeah, I think it is. Just on the southern side or the bottom of the dam wall. So we're approaching now. We've seen buffalo tracks. I think they're from yesterday, though. I think that's when we saw the buffaloes coming down yesterday. But still, as we walk down, we can actually just start seeing the dam through there. I don't see any animals at it yet. But just through there, you can see the dam wall. You can see the water just glistening through. That is dam. And as we approach water, as always, we need to be very, very wary that there's not going to be something waiting at the water's edge like a buffalo or an elephant bull that's just quietly sitting there, or standing there rather. So we do have to be very, very alert and listen. Some hornbills flying off. The water looks calm. I don't hear anything. There are some tracks of kudu here. So it might have been a kudu that came here during the night. If you can see this track, we know this is a kudu because it's got a roughly rugby ball shape and because it steps on its other tracks. So this kudu might be down at the water hole. So wish us luck as we head down there.
This is Jake Whitener, all the way from the US, and he is a holder of the Ticket to Dream.
I decided to support and buy the Ticket to Dream to help WildEarth in its mission of conservancy towards animals and the environment.
If you want to go on safari with a WildEarth guide, whilst honing your bush knowledge and of course featuring in one of our shows, then head over to our website.
And I would highly recommend that people would be involved in that program.
Sign up to be a WildEarth explorer and you could be making your first ever on-screen appearance.
Ever since I was able to get the Ticket to Dream, I've been looking forward to coming on this drive. It is an absolutely fabulous experience and it's great.
The Mara Triangle is a jewel in the Kenyan conservation crown, and thanks to the dedication of the Mara Conservancy, it thrives as one of Earth's greatest national treasures.
We have been experiencing a reduction in the wire snails that we collect on a monthly basis, and this is basically attributed to our intense patrols.
Over the years, this courageous team of anti-poachers has reduced poaching to almost zero.
Mimi naitwa Stephen Olereso. Nimefanya kazi miaka 16 sasa. Kuanzia miaka 2002. Hao wanadamu ni wenye utua sana sana inaogofya ni wale wenye wanaenda kama ndovu. Wanatumia kama bunduki. Sasa hiyo ndio huwa inakuanga hatari sana sana kwa sisi.
As a result of the global pandemic and the massive reduction in tourist revenue, the Mara Triangle is facing a financial crisis. They need your help if they are to continue their ability to protect this magical land.
My name is Steve, and one of my favorite things at WildEarth is getting questions from you. The type of questions that I really like are those ones that really help us to unpack and understand and really integrate the ecological knowledge and fully appreciate the importance that animals such as these Cape buffalo bring to the ecosystem. If you want to ask a question on WildEarth, you're going to have to register on the website. But once registered, just head on over to the live safari page and enter your question under the live feed.
So yeah, let's find out. If it's him, then because he spent a lot of time, I think, up in the west, in Ghana. But it's always a chance for him to come back. Wouldn't surprise us, I say, if he ever come back, because that's what cats do. There's a time to patrol. They're territorial, so that's how they communicate. And the amazing thing is that they also know exactly which place they hasn't been, and they're all aware of the chemical that they have used the last time they were in that area that might expired. It was not active anymore, so they have to re-done again or respray. So, Matt, you're asking, how do I know if the track's a female leopard or male? So, it's easy, where males' tracks are quite bigger in size. So female in general, they have a very small tracks. So that's how we always know every time we look. Even also you can tell difference by looking at line tracks, whether you're tracking on their males or females or mixed. There's a chance that you can tell them. So it's the same with the leopard. Bigger tracks, it is a male. Can be big male, can be small male, but the tracks come so much bigger in size. Even maybe that male is still young, but the tracks itself, it's bigger in size. So that's how we tell. So let's carry on, see what we find. Hope we'll get lucky. Let me send you across to Trish, which is out of Mlawati already.
Yes, it would be so lovely to see something green, wouldn't it? Well, now we've popped out of the Mlawati again for the spotted eagle. But I think maybe all the elephant activity in the area had chased them off for this particular time. So we'll go when there's maybe this afternoon again when it's a little bit quieter and we can see them. Thought I had tracks, but I didn't. So we're probably going to bump these elephants again because we couldn't get past them to come out of the Mlawati. We had to go around. So we'll probably bump them on the road because they're mostly moved out of. This is how drips and drabs of elephants here and there coming in, watching them do their elephanty things, watching them be ridiculous and cute. I find it very, very therapeutic to be around elephants. Hi, you guys. They scurried off as if I just caught them doing something terrible. But in fact, they do have a mutualistic relationship. Each of them benefit from each other's presence. Oh, look at these two. Hello, you two. Oh, look at that. And the hornbill coming in to break it up. No, hornbill. Your help only extends so far. You can't get involved in family issues. You're basically the security guard. I love watching these young ones have a go at each other. It's obviously very friendly. They're not actually intending on hurting each other. But they're also so small. It looks really rough. I found that the young ones can be a lot more relaxed than the adults. I don't know if they've not yet learned what we are and what the vehicle is. They're more curious about us and less cautious. Well, I've now moved on into the grass there. It's very sweet. This particular business seems to have quite a few little ones. Ah, it's the elephants. For our Tavangumi. I'm sure it'll be amazing to find him, but we're gonna go and stop by these elephants now. So small, so big.
So we're still on Galago shortcut, but now I'm going to go down to Galago Pen. That's where I'm going to go look there. Quickly look, because of course I actually haven't come across the tracks of that male leopard on that road I was at right now. So it happens either he delayed to come out in that wood, but it's a sign of elephants in that block as well. So I might actually have to go back to main axis, Vietela axis there, drive west. So if it happens that maybe you turn, head south again, but the guys say that the general direction was a west-northwest. And the last tracks that I saw cut back to the east again, and I found out, I confirmed that it's probably the new tracks, because I lost him, then he was heading west. So that's what makes us came this way to check. Generally don't spend a lot of time in the same area unless if they have a kill in that area. But if not, then they may rest and then get up, move to different spots. So, which means that if he delayed to come out there, maybe later, he may come out here at the Galago Pen, just to have a look quickly. which is, doesn't look like there's anything around here much. Not even an antelope trying to drink here at all, so maybe it hasn't come this far yet. I think so. So I'm going to go back to the main axis. Is so great that you won't miss so much. We can see through enough, which is great. And we're just gonna scan around as a drive. So in that area, I'm not sure where he drank water. If he just drank the water somewhere else, it means that maybe he would be fine for the next couple of hours. But if he hasn't yet, maybe for the whole night, we may need water somehow soon, which is the water station around here would be that Galago Pen. So let's hope we bump on him or just spot him.
There's this little one just moving off and into the block. And out of sight, unfortunately. That's okay, we spent so much excellent quality time with elephants this morning. It was a tremendous, elephantastic morning for me. I enjoyed it so much, and for Andrew. So it means for you, it would have been even double greatness of the elephants. We've been having the best time with them. There's some a little further down. We might be able to get a better look at them. They're just up that way. I think if we keep driving, we might, but I'm quite sure we're going to lose them into the block now. Yep. Well, hopefully some more will pop out on the side of the road. But I must say, I'm elephant satisfied now. Ah, just when I say it, there are more to pop out on the road in front of us. Oh, this is really a really nice large herd. Hi Jasmine, you'd like to know if all elephants in a herd help look after the young? Yes, they certainly do. Just want to see if there are any others around. Oh, hello, youngie. We'll look at you from here. They definitely do. They support each other's young. Sometimes you'll see little calves in tow of another female. They'll have mum close by, but they will definitely help to protect each other's calves, and cooperatively, or as a collective, raise the calves. Although it is the primary priority and primary responsibility of the calf's mother to feed it. But if a calf loses its mother, other members in the herd will look after it and feed it. If it happens while they're in a herd. Often what happens is when elephants get poached, they get separated from their herd, except for the calf that would follow that cow. And then that calf usually ends up dying because it's not with the herd when the herd has figured out that the mother of that calf has died. There's not a single cloud in the sky. It's almost like a blue, like it's lit up blue from the inside. It's so beautiful. You can hear the African grey hornbill going past us. It's such a sweet call. Okay, well, you have moved to the side. Let's move a little bit forward. See if anybody else. Oh, they're all over the place. I see another one down that way. Hi, you. There we go. I think we're at about the edge of the... Oh, yes, you come through. There's a youngster just running towards us there in the back. But it seems like we're kind of at the end of the herd now, and we'll be passing them in a bit. So we're going to send you over to Mike and Pridelands on Bushwalk. See what interesting stuff he's got for you. Oh!
So what we found is there were no kudu's at the dam, so we decided to leave, and now we found some fairly fresh buffalo dung. You can see it's still glistening, it's still wet, it's cold, it's been here overnight, but at least now we know where the buffaloes went after they were at the waterhole yesterday morning. They came in this direction. We're moving east from the dam, and I can show you just how soft it is. There's not even a crust on this dung, it's just soft, which means it's been in the shade. It's been not a windy day, not a particularly hot day yesterday. So this is definitely from yesterday, but we're on the right track, and we have to be quite wary because we're in a fairly thick area. As you can see, sorry about that. We can't walk down that way because it's very thick in there. So what we're going to have to do is avoid those thickest areas and walk along the game paths just on the side. Oh, I can hear oxpeckers. They're flying over the leadwood in that direction. You won't be able to see them, I think, but they might have come from that buffalo herd, and they might be heading towards the water to have a drink. That's the oxpeckers. The buffaloes, I suspect, are still in this direction. We don't have a lot longer to do this walk, but we'll head in this direction, and maybe we'll find those buffaloes. If we don't, we can always try again this afternoon. It's a good start for us, going in that direction. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed we can find them, hopefully not too close and personal in these thickets. And whilst we do so, we'll send you over to Andrew.
Yeah.
Right, everybody, sorry, I was just trying to talk to the radio there. Looks like they sound like they got that male leopard. And then, I don't know if I'm going to get there in time, but before he vanished into the bush. So I'm going to try getting there. He's on a Powerline Road, so it's just not far, so that then if I'll get there, I'll stick with him. So, I'm gonna try this. Let me send you across to Trish.
Exciting! That would conclude a beautiful, beautiful morning to end it off with Tabangumi. Hyena tracks. We have passed our elephant friends. We've turned our nose in the direction of home. So we were all the way down in the south, so it'll take us a while to get back. And now we're just having a look at what else is going on around us. I think one of the highlights for this morning for me was also that Daika coming down to have a drink. That was very, very cool. It's not something you get to see often at all. I want to be like Mike. Have you told Mike at Pridelands? You should probably tell him. But you'd like to know what is my favorite area as a naturalist. I particularly like, obviously, you know me, it's very difficult for me to choose favorites. Everything has its own importance and beauty and just, you know, the things, if I choose favorites, the things... All right, we'll talk about that later or this afternoon, but let me send you over to Andrew because he's found Tabangumi.
Right, everybody, we got this ML leopard by the name of, I think if not mistaken, I can't pronounce, but Danangume or something like that. I think it is. If I'm wrong, sorry everybody. I just got a little bit of his name a bit, which I haven't met him really yet. Tabangumi, it's confirmed, Tabangumi. It's a car right in front of us, so we kept up with him. He's on the road, so just to try not to lose him. So we will try stick with him, make sure that wherever he goes, we're right behind him, just to see what he's up to.
The Endangered Wildlife Trust fights at the forefront of conservation, across the vast Karoo and sweeping grasslands, in remote pockets of forest, along road networks, across African skies, and in communities to conserve our wildlife and wild spaces. Help us to protect forever, together. Donate now at ewt.org.za.
Hi everyone, my name's Daniel Fisher and I'm going to be your guide this afternoon. I'm looking really forward to taking you through and showing you all the beautiful places here at and beyond Ngala. If you have any questions, please register on our website. Once registered, go to the live page feed and post your questions underneath the live feed. Join me on my next safari through and beyond Ngala on WildEarth. Send me live questions through the WildEarth website and I'll answer them live from the African bush.
The croc is still holding another one there. It's holding from the hindquarters. I would really want the wildebeest cross. Is it trying? The croc is holding the tail. It's holding tight. Oh no! Goodness me! Lucky wildebeest. You have another day to live.
Expect the unexpected here on WildEarth daily.
Hello, I'm Marna, your WildEarth safari guide from and beyond Gala. What's my favorite animal? Definitely elephants, and in particular an elephant bull, an old elephant bull. I think the sheer size partnered with their experience because they grow so old. I always wonder what they've seen and how they've seen the bush change over those many years. Join me or one of the other guides twice a day on WildEarth.
So we got him. He's not actually stationary, everyone. So this is all about probably early hunting, late hunting. Still a winter, so the temperature when it drops doesn't drop too much. Sometimes, depending on the day, but now the wind is picking up, so may luckily drop a bit, but it'll probably keep him moving again. Just now static there in a shed. He's probably seen something we're not sure about. Just gonna take a silent moment of a silence just to see how he react on whatever he's seen back there. I agree, everyone. So saying you're so happy to see these guys, also so happy for me to meet these guys. So I'm also truly happy. And then I'm very, very happy because for me it's a new cat in the area. Still going to find out where he's just came from and where he's born. So in this case where he's probably definitely sure that he's spotted something, he would just gonna wait there for any chance that wherever he's seen, chances of that prey species move towards him or maybe move a bit away or to hide, then he would have time to change position forward a bit. So you just taking it easy still. Julia, you say Tabangumi is such a beautiful leopard. Indeed, I agree with you. He's such a beautiful, I mean, he's still good in good condition, healthy looking cat though. And then looks like he just move. But that I'm also gonna move as well. Probably go to the left. Okay, we got a brief visual of him still, but there he is. See how he's trying to crawl down. Looks like it's probably, looks like it was a kudu. I think Theo, he said it right up than myself, so you could see better. He said it was a kudu. So, I mean, he's moving, we're gonna move so we don't... Keep up with him. Sorry. visual. Just gonna make sure we got enough distance between him and us. Thank you everybody for join us again this afternoon at 2:30, sorry.